Let's bring in Taylor Shire. We'll come back around on all the other topics. He's the beat writer for the Roughriders for the Leader Post. Hey, Taylor, tonight, Sask at Montreal. Al's favored by 3.5 in a battle of the backups. You go along with that line or not?
You know what? When I look at all the different storylines around this game, I would tend to agree with it. Montreal's coming off a bye. First of all, they're 2 5-1 teams, two teams who are at the top, so you could, consider it a pick'em game. But Montreal is coming off a bye week. Yes, Cody Fajardo is hurt, so they're going to go with backup Caleb Evans, but the Riders have backup Shea Pedersen in as well. So those two canceled out, but the Riders just played a very physical game against Winnipeg. They had just 2 days of practice. Now they got to travel to Montreal. Montreal, meanwhile, they're coming off a loss a couple of weeks ago, but they've had a bye week, they've had a full week of prep, and they're at home. So to me, that's the biggest sort of storyline in this game, the intangible that would probably move the line that way. Everything else is pretty evenly matched. Both great defenses, like I said, both backup quarterbacks with good offenses. So like I said, it's hard to disagree with that line based on some of the things heading in.
I get it. I totally get it. But if you were to just put it down on who's the better quarterback, which I think a lot of betting people do, you'd have to go, I think, with Shea Pedersen, would you not? Who's the better guy? It's Shea Pedersen over Caleb Evans, no?
Yeah, I would certainly put it on Shea Pedersen. He's looked really good. His ceiling is certainly higher. Caleb Evans has proven before that he can win in this league. He can play in this league. He beat Saskatchewan last year. I think he only threw the ball maybe 13 times last year and still managed to beat the Riders. Obviously a way different team. But Shea Pedersen has looked comfortable since taking over for the injured Trevor Harris. So, yes, I would tend to agree that Shea Pedersen is the stronger quarterback this year. But I think, like I said, very evenly matched teams. Montreal has such a strong defense. Saskatchewan, their defense is right there, probably a 1A, 1B type of thing. So that would be the only thing to move the line, is that the Als will be without Cody Fajardo as Caleb Evans makes his first start. I don't know what the line would be if Cody Fajardo were to play. Obviously, it would be a little bit higher on Montreal's. Montreal would be favored higher. So that's another thing. But, I don't think Saskatchewan money line is a bad bet tonight.
Yeah, hey, I'm taking Riders to win a low-scoring game. I take the under, whatever the hell that it is. I would, under 40 would be my guess. But you know what? I'm watching these Rider games, clearly not into it like I was, and I'm seeing these names. Well, it's not my job now, but they're, aside from the guys that we all know, okay, the Kean Schiefer-Bakers, the Mitch Picktons, the Micah Johnsons, these kinds of guys, can you talk about the new faces? Like some guy named Clint had a big game. And a Joe looks like the next Alan Pitts. I mean, I knew him from South Florida days. But there's some new faces this year. And great ones.
Yeah.
Can you talk about who they are?
Yeah, no doubt. And AJ Alouette is hurt this week. He's another big name. So Frankie Hickson, obviously Rider fans know about him. He's going to draw the start at running back this week. And Kean Schiefer-Baker's hurt, so Keyshawn Johnson is going to come in actually to start at slot back. We were all kind of surprised. We were thinking it was going to be a Joe drawing his first start, based on what he did in relief of Schiefer-Baker last week against Winnipeg. At 110 yards on 4 catches, basically helped seal the game with that 46-yard catch late. Was the top receiver in the CFL despite playing just a half of football, and he doesn't draw the start this week, which I think was kind of surprising. So he's going to be in a backup role. However, I still think they're going to deploy him on the field. So I don't necessarily think it'll be a breakout game for a Joe this week since he's not starting, but I think he'll still be used. He's certainly becoming a fan favorite already. There's been, just buzz around him, people trying to find anything they can about him. I've had lots of people ask me about him. Who is this guy? Where he is? And he's got such a remarkable story. I can't possibly tell the story of how he came to be in this interview. So if you're interested in a Joe, certainly look him up. And you mentioned Clint Ratkovich. I called him at the start of the year. I kind of called him the secret weapon for this team. He caught the only touchdown pass last week for the Riders. He's an American fullback, which is a very, very rare position for an American to play. But he's sort of that utility back, I'll call him. He can block, he can catch passes, he can run the ball. He to me is the sort of the backup running back, although he's listed as a fullback.
Proof again that it's a rider province, not a football province, that they didn't know who Ajoa was. Because it ain't hard to find his story. So anybody Googling it, I would say, keep an open mind. He's a big talent. He was on this show before from the CFL Combine. I'm praying for him. But there's a lot of naysayers, you know. Listen, it's not the Joe show. I hope he does well. I think he's a stud. Riders took a chance on drafting him late when they did it. He's paying off. But 3 colleges before it was cool to change colleges every year. You know what I'm saying? Beyond that, a couple other topics. By the way, Taylor, I'm following your lead. I've joined the South Florida Tribune on a stringing basis, not a full-time job, at covering the Panthers and the Lightning this fall. So you did it with a leader post, so I felt it was okay to jump back into the newspaper business. So thank you for that. What's your take on this soccer thing tonight? I don't want to lead you down the garden path. If you don't want to answer this, don't. But I think it is a freaking joke that Bev Priestman is allowed to discipline herself for her team, her staff being caught spying on the opposition at the Olympics. Just a joke. You?
Yeah, almost surprising because I feel like the Canadian Olympic Committee is always so strict, and there's a lot even the IOC is just so strict in terms of what people can and can't do, and the fact that, you know, obviously they've suspended or you know, told 2 of the staffers to go home or they can't be part of the team. But yeah, what other measures have to come for something, you know, I would say pretty serious? I'm surprised it wasn't just handed down by either the IOC or the Canadian Olympic Committee and just said, here, you know, here's what's happening. You can't even talk to the media. You're going to be whatever the discipline is. So, yeah, certainly surprising.
I would have said, you're done. And if you saw the interview yesterday, Coach Priestman, did you know this was going on? I have a statement that I would like to read. She didn't even answer the question. Yeah. And just because we're sitting here and you're a good sports guy, what do you think about Stan Bowman going to the Oilers?
There's a lot of people that say, you know, you got to give a guy a second chance or whatnot. And I'm going to just, you know, sort of defer to Sheldon Kennedy and a guy I respect and a guy that's sort of given him the green light, so to speak. You know, I've known Sheldon I've met him at a couple different events over the years, certainly respect him, respect his story. So if he's the guy to sort of say, you know, it's okay in my books, then I'm fine with that as well. You know, I believe in second chances and people changing and learning and growing. And if Bowman has clearly, if he's done that, then I don't see why he shouldn't get a second chance. Although I would sort of say how it was handled initially was not really the way, you know, I would criticize the way it was handled initially, not him getting the job now, if that makes sense.
Handled by the Oilers or the way he handled the scandal?
Obviously how he handled the scandal during the time, and then how the Blackhawks or how the NHL handled this, you know, did the scandal. If he's allowed to have a position in this league, then who says the Oilers can't hire him, right? If he's banned by the NHL for life or banned by, right? So he's available. And, what people don't understand in this world, whether it's sports or otherwise, there's no handbook in the drawer for Gary Bettman to pull out. So if there's a video coach sexually abusing one of the players on the team and the coach says, this is what you do, there's no handbook. So they try and do it the best they can, and not everybody's perfect. They screwed it up. They've all admitted that. Right? So here we are. That's my take. Sorry, I asked yours. Taylor, as always, thanks for coming on. Enjoy the game tonight and enjoy the rest of summer. Will do. Talk to you later, Roddy.
The leader post, Taylor Shire.